Sergeant Tay stood still as the Galactic Coalition instructors walked around him. They were tall with scales, feathers, and hard shells. Next to them, Tay looked small and weak. "This is what Earth sends us," Commander Darrow said with 4 arms crossed. His gray scales shined in the light as he shook his big head. "He can barely lift a plasma rifle." The Academy on Centauri Prime had only taken Earth's candidate because they had to. It was just politics after humans had joined the galactic community. No one thought Tay would last long. "Maybe humans could do support jobs," another teacher said, her mouthparts clicking to show her dislike. "Communications. Cooking. Things that match their limits." Tay kept his face calm even though he felt angry inside. Earth needed this alliance to prove its worth. Other students whispered and laughed, but Tay just looked ahead. That afternoon, Tay had to fight Koro, a big Akrelian student with a black shell that looked like glass. The fight lasted only 12 seconds. "Weak," Commander Darrow said as Tay lay on the floor. "Just as we thought. Humans don't have what it takes for coalition fighting. Maybe your kind should stick to what you're good at, whatever that is." Everyone in the dining hall laughed. Tay got up quietly, ignoring his pain and hurt pride. Later that night, Tay sat alone in his small room. The space felt cold and empty. The walls were made of some alien metal that hummed softly. His few belongings sat in a neat pile by his bed. A picture of his family back on Earth was the only personal touch. "I will not fail," he whispered to himself. "I cannot fail." Tay had been chosen from thousands of soldiers back home. Earth's future in the stars might depend on how well he did here. If humans were seen as too weak, the coalition might not protect Earth from the dangers in space. The next morning, Tay woke before anyone else. The 3 sons of Centauri Prime had not yet risen. He went to the training room when it was empty and began to practice. He studied videos of the alien species on his datapad. Each had weaknesses. The Belusians were strong but slow to turn. The Akrelians had hard shells but soft spots at their joints. The bird-like Avari could fly but had brittle bones. Day after day, Tay trained while others slept. He adapted human fighting styles to work against alien bodies. He couldn't match their strength, but maybe he could use their weight against them. In class, the teachers continued to mock him. "Human, why do you even try?" asked the combat instructor. "Your kind is thousands of years behind us in evolution." Each day, Tay was beaten in practice fights. But each night, he learned from his losses. One evening, as Tay practiced alone, he heard a noise. He turned to see a female cadet named Jia watching him. She belonged to the Thal-11 race, with blue skin and eyes that glowed slightly in the dark. "You still come here even after they beat you every day?" she asked. "Yes," Tay said simply. "Why?" "You must know you can't win." Tay wiped sweat from his face. "My people have a saying, the tree that bends in the storm survives while the rigid one breaks." Jia tilted her head. "I don't understand." "It means I will adapt. I will find a way." She studied him for a long moment. "The Academy Championship is next month. Commander Darrow has already chosen Koro as his champion. If you enter, you will be humiliated in front of everyone." "Then I will be humiliated," Tay said. "But I will fight." Jia shook her head. "You're either very brave or very stupid. I can't decide which." She left, but returned the next night. And the night after. Soon she was helping him train, showing him how different species fought. "The Akrelians always protect their right side," she advised. "Their hearts are there." Slowly, Tay began to improve. He still lost every official match, but the losses took longer. The laughter in the dining hall grew quieter. One day, Commander Darrow announced, "The championship begins in 1 week. All cadets are eligible to enter." His eyes fell on Tay. "Even those who have yet to win a single match." Everyone looked at Tay. Some laughed. Some looked sorry for him. Tay stood up. "I will enter." Commander Darrow smiled with sharp teeth. Good. The human wishes to provide entertainment. So be it. That night, as Tay trained harder than ever, he knew the real test was coming. Earth was counting on him. He would not let his world down. The simulation chamber glowed with soft blue light as Tay moved through his exercises. While other cadets slept, he trained. His body was tired, but his mind stayed sharp. Each night for weeks, he had come here alone. Tay studied recordings of alien fights on his datapad. The Volusians relied on their forearms for powerful strikes. The Akrelians used their hard shells as weapons. The quick Avari attacked from above with their wings. For each alien strength, Tay developed a human answer. He couldn't match their power, but he could use their weight against them. He couldn't equal their speed, but he could predict their moves. You're still here? Tay spun around to see Jia standing in the doorway. Her blue skin looked almost purple in the chamber's light. Her glowing eyes blinked sideways in that strange Thal 11 way. Training, Tay said simply. Every night, you come here, she noted. Why? Tay wiped sweat from his face. Because I need to be better. The Academy had assigned Jia as his academic partner last week. After some humans from Earth had complained about Tay's treatment, the Academy had to make sure he wasn't completely alone. Jia had been chosen because no one else wanted the job. I didn't think humans had such determination, she admitted, watching him return to his exercises. There's a lot about humans you don't know, Tay replied without stopping. To his surprise, Jia came back the next night. She sat silently, watching him train. On the third night, she brought her own datapad and began taking notes. Your species evolved as persistence hunters, she observed on the fourth night. Your endurance is unexpected. Tay stopped to catch his breath. We also developed problem solving. When you can't overpower something, you outthink it. Show me, she said. Tay demonstrated how humans had hunted animals much stronger than themselves on Earth. We didn't have to be faster than the prey. We just had to keep going until they got tired. Jia's eyes widened. You chased prey until it collapsed from exhaustion? Sometimes for days, Tay nodded. Most species can sprint faster than humans. But over long distances, humans can outlast almost anything. Jia began helping Tay analyze combat data. She was a tactics specialist with access to the Academy's full training records. Together, they studied every species' fighting style. The Volusians depend on their size, Jia pointed out. They expect enemies to retreat from their attacks. So I don't retreat, Tay said. I move inside their reach where their size works against them. Night after night, they refined their ideas. Jia showed Tay the standard counters to each fighting style. Tay developed his own variations that used human agility and endurance. When the Academy announced the next tactical exercise, Tay and Jia were paired together in the bottom-ranked team. No one expected them to perform well. The exercise was a capture-the-flag simulation in the Academy's largest training area. Teams had to navigate obstacles, avoid traps, and fight opponents to secure their objective. They will expect us to be direct, Jia said during planning. All teams always take the central route. Then we'll go around, Tay suggested. The longer path may take more time, but we'll face fewer opponents. On the day of the exercise, other teams rushed toward the center of the course. Tay and Jia took the outer path, moving carefully through rough terrain. When they encountered resistance, Tay used his new techniques. He didn't try to overpower opponents, he outlasted them. 3 hours into the exercise, most teams had exhausted themselves in the central battles. Tay and Jia were tired but still moving steadily toward their goal. One more team ahead, Jia whispered, checking her scanner. It's Burrow's team. Burrow was a top Volusian cadet, known for his strength and tactical skill. His team guarded the final approach to the objective. They'll expect a direct assault, Tay said. Let's not give them what they expect. Instead of attacking, Tay and Jia circled around, setting off small distractions. For 2 hours, they kept Burrow's team turning, searching, and moving. The Volusians grew frustrated and tired. Humans can maintain focus longer than Volusians, Jia had told Tay. They get irritable when plans don't work quickly. When Burrow finally split his team to search for them, Tay and Jia made their move. They slipped past the weakened defense and captured the objective. The academy instructors were shocked. A human and his Thal 11 partner had beaten the top teams. Luck, Burrow sneered afterward in the dining hall. Nothing more than luck. But other cadets looked at Tay differently now. Some approached him during meals. "How did you know to take the outer path?" one asked. "How did you last so long without resting?" asked another. Even Commander Darrow seemed puzzled during the next training session. "Perhaps the human has some hidden qualities," he said grudgingly. That night, Tay found more cadets in the simulation chamber. "We want to train with you," one said. "To learn how humans fight." Jia looked at Tay with her glowing eyes. "It seems your strategy worked. Show them what humans can do." Tay nodded. This was just the beginning. The main hall of the academy fell silent as the announcement appeared on the large screen. The words "Galactic Combat Trials" flashed in bright letters. Every cadet stopped to read the news. "The annual Galactic Combat Trials will begin in 10 days, said the message. "All qualified cadets may register for this prestigious tournament." Excited whispers filled the room. The combat trials were famous throughout the galaxy. Winners received top positions in the Coalition fleet. These positions controlled which planets got protection and resources. Tay stood at the back of the crowd, reading carefully. Earth had joined the Coalition last year, but still had no leadership roles. Without a voice in command, Earth remained vulnerable. "Will you watch the fights?" asked a cadet next to Tay. "No," Tay replied. "I will compete." The cadet laughed, then realized Tay was serious. "But, humans have never even passed the preliminaries." Tay didn't respond. He walked straight to the registration terminal and entered his name. As he finished, Jia rushed up to him. "You cannot seriously intend to register," she said, her glowing eyes wide with concern. "Earth needs representation," Tay replied simply. "But the combat trials are different from our training exercises. The fights are real. Some cadets have died." Tay nodded. "I understand the risk." Word of Tay's registration spread quickly. By afternoon, most of the academy knew. In the combat training hall, Instructor Darrow approached Tay with a wide smile that showed his sharp teeth. "The human wishes to compete," Darrow announced loudly. Other cadets stopped to listen. "Perhaps we should allow it as a demonstration of why some species belong in the Coalition and others do not." Several Volusian cadets laughed. Burrow, their champion, stepped forward. "I look forward to facing you, human. It will be educational." That night, Jia helped Tay prepare for the challenges ahead. "The preliminary rounds have 15 matches," she explained. "You must win at least 10 to advance." Tay studied the roster of competitors. "I recognize most of these fighters from our training sessions." "Yes, but in the trials, they will fight differently. More aggressively. They will not hold back." Tay nodded. "Neither will I." For the next week, Tay and Jia trained harder than ever. They analyzed every potential opponent. They developed specific strategies for each alien species. "Remember," Jia said, "most of them have never fought a human before. They don't know what you can do." The day of the preliminary rounds arrived. The Academy's main arena was filled with spectators, including military officials from across the galaxy. Tay's first match was against a patron named Kiv. The massive alien had muscles that looked like rocks under his thick skin. "Begin," called the referee. Kiv charged forward, confident in his superior strength. Tay did not retreat as expected. Instead, he stepped toward the attack, ducking under Kiv's arms. As the patron's momentum carried him forward, Tay used it against him, redirecting his force to throw him off balance. The crowd gasped as the massive patron crashed to the floor. Before he could recover, Tay had him in a submission hold focused on pressure points unique to Petron physiology. "Victory to the human competitor," announced the referee, surprise evident in his voice. The arena was silent for a moment, then filled with confused murmurs. No one had expected this outcome. Tay's second match came against a swift Caridian with 4 legs and 2 arms. The alien moved like lightning, circling Tay with blinding speed. Tay remained calm. He had studied Caridian fighting patterns. They established rhythms to confuse opponents. Tay counted the beats of the alien's movements, then suddenly broke the pattern by moving in the opposite direction expected. The Caridian, thrown off by this unpredictable response, hesitated just long enough for Tay to close the distance. The match ended quickly after that. As the day progressed, Tay continued to surprise the audience. He defeated a floating Marisol by dragging it into close combat. He outlasted a powerful Jornian by simply allowing it to exhaust its energy reserves. By the end of the preliminaries, Tay had won 12 of his 15 matches. It was enough to qualify for the finals. The academy was buzzing with shocked conversations. A human had never advanced this far in the trials. Some cadets who had dismissed Tay now watched him with new respect. Others, particularly the Volusians, seemed angry at this unexpected development. When the finalist roster appeared on the main screen with Tay's name included, Commander Doro's expression darkened dangerously. His scales seemed to darken as well, a sign of Volusian rage. "This changes nothing," Doro said to his Volusian students. "The finals will demonstrate the natural order. Prepare yourselves." That evening, Tay sat alone in his room, tending to his injuries from the day's fights. There was a knock at his door. "Enter," he called. Ja stepped inside, carrying medical supplies. "You did well today," she said, helping him treat a deep cut on his arm. "But the finals will be much harder." "I know," Tay replied. "Burrow will be your first opponent tomorrow. He has never lost a match in the academy." Tay nodded. "Every fighter can be defeated. Even Burrow." Jia looked worried. "The instructors are not happy about your success. I heard them talking. They didn't expect you to advance." "Good," Tay said. "Sometimes being underestimated is an advantage." As the academy slept that night, Tay stood at his window looking at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, counting on him to secure its place in the galaxy. Tomorrow would determine if he could succeed. The night before the final matches, Tay was reviewing his strategies one last time. Tomorrow would be the hardest challenge of his life. 5 matches against the top fighters in the academy. If he could win, Earth would gain respect in the coalition. Suddenly, his door slid open. Ja rushed in, looking around nervously before closing the door. "They are planning something," she whispered. "I overheard Burrow speaking with Commander Darrow in the tactics room. They cannot allow a human to advance further." Tay put down his data pad. "What did they say exactly?" "Commander Darrow said your success is politically inconvenient. The Volusian High Command doesn't want humans gaining influence in the coalition so soon." Tay wasn't entirely surprised. He had noticed how the Volusians controlled many key positions in the coalition fleet. They had been the dominant species for centuries. "We need proof," he said. Jia nodded. "I can access the Academy's security system. My species is trusted with information management." For the next 2 hours, they searched through records and communications. What they found confirmed their fears. Volusian officials had been working for months to limit human advancement. They had placed obstacles in front of every human initiative. The tournament was just one part of their plan. "Look at this," Ja said, pointing to a message from Commander Darrow to Volusian High Command. "They're concerned about human adaptability. They call it unpredictable and potentially dangerous." Another message revealed the real reason: Earth's position near the quantum gate makes it strategically vital. Control must remain with species we can trust. Tay understood now. Earth is vulnerable without coalition defense networks. If we're kept at arm's length, your planet could be exposed to threats, Ja finished. The Volusians want to control the defenses around your solar system. Their discovery made tomorrow's matches even more important. This wasn't just about Tay's success, it was about Earth's future security. We should take this information to the Coalition Council, Jia suggested. Not yet, Tay replied. We need more than just communications. If I can win tomorrow, it forces them to recognize humans as equals. It was late when they finished. Tay needed sleep before the finals, but he also needed to clear his head. He decided to walk to the meditation garden first. Be careful, Jia warned as they parted. The Volusians are desperate to stop you. Tay nodded and headed down the corridor alone. The academy was quiet at this hour. Most cadets were already asleep. The only sound was the soft hum of the building's systems. As he passed a darkened section of the corridor, he sensed movement. His training made him turn quickly, but he wasn't fast enough. Shadows detached from the walls. The attack was swift and coordinated. Tay identified Volusian combat techniques in the style of the strikes. He blocked the first two attacks, but there were at least 3 attackers. A powerful blow caught him in the side. Pain exploded across his ribs. He fought back as best he could, landing several effective strikes, but a hit to his head made his vision blur. Darkness claimed him as he fell to the floor. When Tay opened his eyes, bright lights made him squint. He was in the academy medical bay. Jia sat beside his bed, her expression worried. How long? Tay asked, his voice rough. 6 hours, she replied. The finals begin in 2 hours. Tay tried to sit up but gasped at the sharp pain in his side. 3 cracked ribs, Jia informed him. The medical officer says you cannot compete. He's already filed the withdrawal form. Tay looked around the room. No one else was present. Help me up. Tay, you can't fight like this. The pain blockers will only help so much. Earth needs this, he said simply. Help me up. After a moment's hesitation, Jia nodded. She helped him to his feet, supporting him as pain shot through his body. The medical supply room is there, she said, pointing. I'll get what you need. She returned with pain blockers and binding tape. As she helped him apply them, Tay practiced breathing through the pain. The first opponent will target your injury, Jia warned. I'm counting on it, Tay replied. An hour later, Tay walked slowly toward the arena. Each step was difficult, but he kept his face calm. He could hear the crowd already gathered for the finals. Important officials from across the coalition had come to watch. When Tay entered the fighter's entrance, a tournament official looked surprised. Human Cadet Tay? We were informed you had withdrawn. Incorrect information, Tay said simply. The official checked his data pad and frowned. I'll need to verify this. While they waited, Commander Darrow appeared. His scales darkened when he saw Tay. You should be in medical, he said sharply. Your injuries are not serious, Tay interrupted. I am ready to compete. Darrow's eyes narrowed. This is foolish. You'll only embarrass yourself further. Then you have nothing to worry about, Tay replied. After several tense minutes, the official returned. The withdrawal form was not properly authorized, he said. You are still in the competition, Cadet Tay. Darrow's 4 fists clenched, but he said nothing more. As Tay limped into the arena for the finals, the assembled coalition officials murmured in surprise. In the center of the fighting area, his first opponent waited Burrow, the Volusian champion. Behind him stood 4 more finalists, the finest warriors the galaxy had produced. Tay took a deep breath, ignoring the pain in his ribs. This fight was for Earth. The arena fell silent as Tay stepped onto the fighting platform. His bandaged ribs were visible under his uniform. Some spectators whispered that the human should have withdrawn. Others wondered if he had some secret plan. Burrow, the Volusian champion, waited in the center of the arena. His gray scales gleamed under the lights. His 4 arms were ready for combat. Begin, called the referee. Burrow moved first, rushing forward with surprising speed for his size. Tay sidestepped, but pain shot through his ribs. His movement was slower than usual. Burrow's fist caught him on the shoulder, sending him stumbling. "First blood to the Volusian," announced the commentator. Tay recovered his balance and focused. He couldn't match Burrow's strength, especially with his injury. He needed to be smarter. "Already weakening, human?" Burrow taunted. Tay didn't reply. He studied Burrow's movements, noticing how the Volusian protected his lower left side. Ja had told him this was where Volusians had sensitive nerve clusters. The fight continued with Burrow pressing his advantage. Tay absorbed punishment but remained standing. The crowd watched in amazement as the human refused to yield. "Your endurance is impressive," Burrow admitted after 5 minutes of combat. "But you cannot win." At that moment, Tay changed tactics. Instead of avoiding Burrow's attacks, he moved closer, inside the Volusian's reach. There, the power of Burrow's strikes was reduced. Tay struck quickly at the sensitive spots in Burrow's armor. The Volusian roared in surprise and pain. He tried to create distance, but Tay stayed close. When Burrow finally managed to throw Tay off, the human had scored several effective hits. "Match to the human," the referee announced, surprising everyone. Burrow stood in shock as Tay was declared the winner of the first match. The crowd buzzed with excitement. No one had expected this outcome. Without rest, Tay faced his second opponent, a Nova from the distant reaches of the galaxy. The Nova species had limited telepathic abilities that let them predict opponents' moves. As the match began, Tay felt the Nova's mind touching his. He remembered Gia's advice: their telepathy works best on ordered thoughts. Tay began thinking chaotically, jumping between random memories, songs, and nonsense phrases. The Nova fighter looked confused. Its movements became uncertain. Taking advantage of this confusion, Tay pressed forward. Though his ribs screamed in pain with each movement, he kept fighting. The Nova, unable to predict his attacks, soon found itself overwhelmed. "Second match to the human," the referee declared. The third match pitted Tay against a Cascadian with 8 limbs. The alien moved like flowing water, its many arms striking from all directions. Tay knew he couldn't block all those attacks. Instead, he backed toward the edge of the fighting platform. The Cascadian followed, thinking it had Tay trapped. But Tay had studied the arena design. He used the limited space to reduce the Cascadian's advantage, forcing it to bunch its limbs together. Despite taking several hits, Tay managed to tangle the Cascadian's limbs and secure another victory. By the fourth match, Tay was exhausted. Blood soaked through his bandages. His opponent, a massive warrior from the gravity-heavy world of Durek, seemed unstoppable. For the first time, Tay began to doubt. His body was failing him. The pain was becoming too much. Then he saw Gia in the crowd. She nodded at him, her glowing eyes fierce with belief. Beyond her sat several other cadets who had trained with him. Even some alien species were now cheering for the human. Finding new strength, Tay faced the Durikian. The match was brutal. Tay used every trick he had learned, every weakness he had studied. When it ended, both fighters could barely stand. But only one remained conscious. Fourth match to the human, the referee announced in disbelief. Now only the final match remained against Burrow again, who had fought his way through the losers bracket for a rematch. As they faced each other in the center of the arena, Burrow looked at Tay with new respect. "Your persistence is admirable," Burrow rumbled as they circled each other, "but ultimately futile. Some species are simply superior." Tay didn't waste energy on a reply. He needed every bit of strength for this final battle. What followed was a fight that would be talked about for years. Burrow attacked with everything he had. Tay absorbed punishment that would have broken others. His human ability to endure pain became his greatest weapon. Burrow grew increasingly frustrated as Tay refused to fall. The Volusian's attacks became stronger but less controlled. Tay waited patiently for his opening. It came when Burrow overextended a powerful strike. Tay ducked under it and delivered a precise hit to the nerve cluster in Burrow's side. The Volusian giant fell to one knee. Before Burrow could recover, Tay pressed his advantage. A series of quick strikes to vulnerable points left the Volusian unable to continue. The arena was silent for a long moment. Then it exploded with sound as the spectators realized what they had witnessed. Final victory to the human. The tournament champion is Cadet Tay of Earth. The Coalition Council members watching from their special box looked stunned. This was not the outcome they had expected. 1 month later, Earth had received full protection status. Human representatives now sat on important coalition committees. The Volusian plan had failed. At the academy, Tay stood before a new class of cadets. Among them were 5 humans, the first group allowed to join since Tay had arrived. Combat is not just about physical strength, Tay told them. It's about understanding yourself and your opponent. Everyone has strengths. Everyone has weaknesses. The greatest warrior is not always the strongest or fastest, but the one who adapts. A young human cadet raised her hand. Sir, can humans really compete with species that have evolved such advantages? Tay smiled. They once asked the same about me. Behind the class, Commander Dara watched with newfound respect. The galaxy was changing. And humans would be part of that change. The end.